It is a little known fact of history that in the interwar years between the First World War and the early part of the Second World War, that Britain had its own fascist party. To understand the British Union of Fascists, or BUF, we must first look at its founder, Sir Oswald Mosley. Mosley, like many young men at the time, fought in the First World War, and following his military service started his political career by becoming one of the youngest MPs at the time, representing Harrow from 1918 to 1924. He first represented Harrow as a Conservative. However, Mosley increasingly fell away from the Conservative Party over their Irish policy, strongly condemning the actions of the Black and Tans and auxiliaries in Ireland. Eventually, Mosley crossed the floor to the opposition, where he stood as an independent member until joining the Labour Party in 1924. Mosley remained a Labour MP until becoming increasingly dissatisfied with the Labour Party and leaving. After he left, he founded the predecessor of the BUF, the New Party. The New Party, however, was never able to get off the ground, as in 1931 the Great Depression triggered a general election, which resulted in Mosley and the New Party losing the seats they previously held and winning none. Following this disastrous parliamentary defeat, Mosley went on a tour to study Benito Mussolini's new fascist regime in Italy. Here Mosley became convinced that fascism was the way forward for Britain, and upon returning to the UK, he spent the summer writing his fascist programme, Greater Britain, which would form the basis for the BUF and was officially launched on the 1st of October 1932. The BUF was protectionist, nationalistic to the point of authoritarian, and like all other brands of fascism, strongly anti-communist. The BUF claimed early success, claiming as many as 50,000 members at one point and even having the newspaper, the Daily Mail, as an early supporter for a short period of time. Despite strong resistance from anti-fascist groups such as the Communist Party of Great Britain and the Labour Party itself, the BUF managed to find a following in the East End of London, where in the 1937 City Council elections they polled reasonably successful, although failing to elect any of their candidates. However, towards the middle of the 1930s, the violence of the BUF's paramilitary force, the Fascist Defence Force, nicknamed the Black Shirts, resulted in the alienation of many of the party's middle-class supporters, leading to a decline in membership. And at the Olympia rally in London in 1934, the violent ejection of anti-fascists by the Black Shirts led to the Daily Mail withdrawing its support of the party. From here, the BUF further declined. In 1935, they began drawing closer to anti-Semitism, due to the growing influence of Nazi sympathizers like John Beckett within the BUF. This caused several high-level resignations, such as the resignation of Dr. Robert Forgan. These resignations and the shift in party policy to a more anti-Semitic view led to the membership falling below 8,000. This led to another change in party policy, as Mosley ultimately shifted the focus back to mainstream politics. Frequent clashes between the Black Shirts and anti-fascists proved to become a common occurrence, with the most famous being the Battle of Cable Street in October 1936, which saw anti-fascists organise and successfully stop the BUF from marching through Cable Street after violent clashes. The BUF support for King Edward VIII and the peace campaign to stop the Second World War saw their membership rise once again. However, by 1939, the total support for the BUF had declined to just 20,000. And finally, on the 23rd of May 1940, was outright banned by the British government, leading to the internment of Mosley and the 740 other British fascists for much of the Second World War.